Hi everybody, and welcome to video number 5, surgery. Just before we begin, I just wanted to remind everybody that if you're really interested in seeing more videos like this about my cancer journey, please hit the subscribe button and you will then have a notification of the next videos. I am posting on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But more importantly, if you're watching this and you know of someone that is going through a similar experience to me and you think this would help them, please share the link with them. It would be great if by doing these videos, I'm offering sort of some support, comfort and advice to others that are experiencing the same overwhelming journey. So in previous videos, I have told you that I have been diagnosed with invasive cancer and I have quite a small lump in the left breast. The procedure that I was recommended to have would be a lumpectomy and also so removing the lump but also removing a margin of healthy breast cell around that lump, just to make sure that no cancer cells had spread into the healthy tissue. Analysis of the lymph nodes under my left arm, which would start with looking at the sentinel node, which is the head lymph node, just to check to see if the cancer, which has the capacity to spread into the lymph system, if it has or not. So during the procedure, they would identify the sentinel node, remove that node, test it, and I'm very lucky that in our local hospital they have the facility to test that node while I'm asleep, and then if it has got cancer cells in it, take out some of the lymph nodes that are in the armpit, so on this left side. So it would be, there's 3 levels of lymph nodes. They would remove level 1 and level 2, leaving level 3, as the job of the lymph nodes is quite key in terms of fighting infection in this left arm. So by keeping some of those lymph nodes in the arm, it keeps that ability to fight infection. So I knew what was going to happen, and I was very, very concerned about it, very worried about probably mostly the general anaesthetic, because I was concerned that I was going to wake up. I think this is a common concern and worry of people going into sort of operations, as so talking about it was really useful in just making me feel a bit better. On the day of the surgery, the first thing that I needed to do was to go over to our bigger hospital, which is in Coventry, which is a little bit further away, to the nuclear medicine department, to have an injection into my left breast, which would contain a radioactive tracking fluid, which would then lead the surgeon to the sentinel node under the armpit. So this fluid would flow through the lymph system and would get stuck in that sentinel node. The surgeon then, during the operation, which was going to happen in the afternoon, would be able to locate that sentinel node, take a small incision under the armpit, remove that node, test it, and then know whether to take all the lymph nodes out. So that's what I did in the morning, very early, went over to Coventry. Again, very, very anxious. I've got to say, the thing that really put me, or made me feel more comfortable, was my family and friends who were sending me lots and lots of WhatsApps, text messages, flowers, cards, inundated with best wishes. The night before, a group of my work friends had sent me a playlist of really strong motivational songs, so I was feeling really motivated and energized by all that love. And I did go into the morning, into that first appointment, feeling like, right, I am gonna just do my best and be really positive, and I will be fine. It'll all be okay. Went in to have that injection, it was fine. All the people in the hospital were absolutely wonderful. The injection did not hurt. It was a small moment in time and then it was over. And I was on my way home to have a little bit of a break before I then moved into the next part, which was the surgery, which was in the afternoon. So at midday, went into Warwick Hospital, so a little bit closer, went into a waiting area, which was a number of small cubicles. And it was a little bit bizarre because there was lots of different people waiting for their different procedures, and it was all different procedures. It wasn't just breast lumpectomies. But in that cubicle, I was visited by the anaesthetist, the surgeon and nurses. They took lots of information, did my blood pressure, checked my temperature, made sure that I was ready for the surgery. The surgeon drew all over my arm and my breast just to make sure they were going in the right place. And I was in there probably for about an hour and a half, and I was the first person to go and have my procedure. The anaesthetist's room, I was greeted by two young guys, not quite attractive, which helped a little bit. And I was asked, they made, me feel very, very comfortable, asked me what my tipple of choice was. I told them it was a gin and tonic, and they said, here you go, here's your first gin. And within minutes, I was fast asleep. I then woke up having had a really wonderful dream of being on holiday by the nurse waking me up. I was in a lot of pain. There was, a lot of pain in this left arm. They had to cut a nerve to get to the lymph node, the sentinel node. So I was in quite a lot of pain. I'd been given some morphine, which was making me feel sick. And I was quite in quite a, an emotional state at that point. Something that I was very aware of at this point was that I was looking out for a drain of some form, because if you have all of your lymph nodes removed, then you will be, a drain will be fitted, a small incision under where your operation took place. A tube would be in there, and then you would have a drain. So I was looking out for this drain, and I couldn't see it straight away, so I was feeling quite relieved about that. And then I started to leave the recovery ward, being rolled out, going to the day ward again, and I actually spotted at that point. So by the time I got to David in the day ward, I was in a bit of a state, because I kind of knew then that all the lymph nodes had gone, so that meant I was going to have chemo. While I was in the day ward, I was visited by the surgeon, who then talked me through that. And then the nurse had also come across, said, you need to drink something, you need to eat something, you need to go to the toilet, and we need to know that you've got somebody there with you tomorrow, and then you can be released. So I did exactly what I was told. I drank something, I ate something, I went to the loo. I let them know that I was going to be with my mum and dad, and then I was released around 5 o'clock, so I'd been in there for about 5 hours. And I think that's probably a good place to stop now, and I'll talk to you all in the next video about the 2 weeks following surgery, the exercises that I needed to do, how I maintained and looked after the drain, what I was like emotionally, and then the appointment with the surgeon, who was talking me then through, what they'd found during the operation. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you all very soon.